Hello and welcome to the pre-match analysis of today's second game between Maldives and Bhutan. Maldives ran riot in their first game at the SAFF Championship, winning 10-0 against Sri Lanka, while Bhutan lost 3-0 to Afghanistan. I have two experts with me to discuss today's game. Sharukh Sohail, Chief Editor of FootballPakistan.com, and Mohamed Firash, Editor of Maldives Soccer. Firash, I have to start with you. 10-0 in their opening game at the SAFF Championship 2013. Maldives their confidence must be sky high right now.
Yeah.
So Firash, we have to talk about Maldives first. Winning 10-0 in their opening game at the SAFF Championships, their confidence must be sky high, right?
Yes, as you said, we won by 10 goals to 0.
Yeah.
And Ashfaq scored 6 goals, which is a record in the history of the SAFF Championship.
Yes.
And also, I think he had made the all-time top scorer of the SAFF Championship.
That's right.
Scoring 10 goals is, I don't think many people might have believed that 10 goals will be scored. But that at the end of the final whistle, they have scored 10 goals. And I think the difference in the match was Ashfaq.
So, speaking about Ashfaq, he scored 6 goals, like you said. What is it about him that makes him so special?
Actually, it's total teamwork because they finished the match in a clean sheet, and from the midfield they dominated the whole game and they produced very good balls to the strikers. And
yes.
Ashfaq, his individual effort scored around 3 goals.
Yes.
So I would say it's rather than only Ashfaq, but the teamwork produced the result.
Okay. Sharukh, you also watched that game and you watched Ali Ashfaq score 6. What did you make of his performance? Wouldn't the rest of the SAFF countries love a player like him?
Well, definitely once you look at Ali Ashfaq's performance, the only question I had in my mind was, why is he still playing in Maldives? Why isn't he going abroad? I think the player of this caliber should be playing in Europe at least. And he just ran right that day. Yes, as Firash mentioned, the Maldives midfield was excellent and they played a couple of very good balls to him. And I think Ashfaq himself will be slightly disappointed. He could have added another goal. He missed an open chance after beating the keeper. So it's just a spectacular result for Maldives and the confidence will be sky high. They don't have to worry about goal difference anymore in contrast to Afghanistan. And I think they'll be going out for a similar win today.
It's incredible that Ashfaq could have scored 7 or 8 on the day. Sharukh just asked that, why does Ashfaq still play in Maldives if he's such a good player? Why do you think that is, Firash?
He used to get offers from European clubs, especially, I think you all must have heard about Benfica offer.
Yes.
But I think it's his personal decisions that he has still not moved. But in 2005 or 6, I think he played for DPMMFC. So for that, it's around for 3 months he played for that team.
But is it that he's homesick, he wants to stay in the Maldives? Is that the reason?
It might be a reason, but then it's his personal decision.
Absolutely, and I think the Maldives fans will be delighted with that. Yeah. Sharukh, continuing on with that Maldives game, he might have scored 6 goals, Maldives might have scored 10 goals, but it was the quality of finishing that was superb.
Yes, definitely. If Maldives created 20 chances, they did definitely finish 19 out of that. So it's definitely very good. Positive to see that Maldives were very clinical. And I think that as they go on into the tournament and perhaps when they face the toughest game to date against Afghanistan, that will come very handy because, against Afghanistan, you don't expect them to create a lot of chances. And when they do, you have to take them.
Yes. Firash, obviously Ashfaq was the star of the show. But like you said, it was complete teamwork. There were a number of players on the Maldives side who played very well throughout the 90 minutes. Who were the other key performers for you on the day?
Especially, I will say after the second half, when Ali Umar and Niaz came on the pitch, the midfield came much more stronger and the combination with the strikers came much more stronger. And because they all play for New Radiate and they have a very good combination, so they played a very, very good game.
Yes. Coming to the second team today, Bhutan. You watched their game against Afghanistan. They lost 3-0. Everyone expected them to lose at least 6 or 7-0, if not more. How was their performance against the Afghans?
Well, surprisingly, contrary to what the scoreline says, Bhutan was pretty decent in the first half as well. They gave Afghanistan a run for their money after the captain Sohail Islamabadi scored. And Bhutan could have added in the first half as well. And in the second half, the captain missed a penalty, which was quite a shock because that could have completely changed the result. Bhutan could have drawn 1-1 at that point and perhaps even scored later on. So it's definitely improvement for them as far as the performance is concerned. And considering that they've been playing decently in the first half, I think that they'll try to do the same against Maldives.
Like you said, Pasang Sharing, the most influential midfielder, missed a penalty in the first half. Do you think when you talk about smaller teams, they look up to one or two players to really inspire them and to perform well? But when you have a senior player miss a penalty like that, do you think that will really affect the morale, his morale first of all, and then transmit that to the rest of the team?
Yes, obviously when the captain he earned the penalty as well, and then he tried to convert it. But I think it was more of a poor penalty rather than the goalkeeper saving it. And after that, you could clearly see the Bhutan players lying down. They were utterly disappointed not to have scored their first goal in quite some time. So yes, it will definitely be a disappointment for the captain personally. I think it took a major toll on the team morale as well.
Absolutely. Firash, when you win 10-0, it's tough to point out anything wrong with the team. But did you see any negatives at all with the Maldives side that day?
Not negative, but I think we missed very open 2-3 chances. But like it may convert the score into 13 or 14 goals. Other than that, the whole team played, I think, according to the coach's game plan. So there was no other negative point I could figure out in the match.
Obviously, if you win 10-0, it's tough to point out anything wrong with the side. Though the confidence must be sky high right now, putting 10 goals past Sri Lanka. Bhutan, on paper, are an even weaker side than Sri Lanka. So is there a chance that Maldives might take this a little too casually?
I don't think Maldives will underestimate the Bhutan team or any team, because we didn't expect Afghanistan. We thought that Afghanistan may score more than 3 goals, but scoring 3 goals means that Bhutan have improved. So I think the coach will take today's match also a very serious match.
Well, that sounds about right. Sharukh, the Bhutani coach, after the defeat to Afghanistan, mentioned that his side cannot compete physically with the likes of Afghanistan, so they have to pass and play. You watched the game, you watched them pass the ball around. Were you impressed with how they played? And do you think that's the right way to go for them?
Yes, as far as their mentality of countering physical presence is concerned, definitely it's the right way to go. But once you start looking at it, yes, Bhutan tried to play the passing game, but when technical aspects come into play, they're not the best side out there. And yes, the captain is capable of putting in a good few passes, but that's about it. Some of the players really struggle to pass the ball around, and at the end of the day, I think it's more down to the technical ability that they can't rely on the coach's game plan and implement that as they play.
Yes, Firash. What would Maldives' approach be going into this game? Will they be thinking that, let's score as many as we can? If we score 10 against Sri Lanka, let's score even more against Bhutan. Or will it be something like, let's win and let's take it easy. Let's not injure any players, and let's focus on the third match.
I think the first priority will be to win the match get the 3 points. And after that, they might go for scoring more goals, because I think now also we have got the advantage of goal differences. So I think today also we might see a number of goals.
Yes, and speaking about changes in the side, you mentioned before the first game that Isa and Rilwan were injured. Yeah. Do you see them coming back into the side for this one?
I think today both of them will be seen in the match in some part of the game. Hopefully Isa will play in today's game, but Rilwan, it's still questionable, but he might join in some part of the game.
And do you think that makes Maldives a much stronger side as well?
Yeah, Isa is a very good midfielder, so joining him in the midfield will again boost the combination and the strength of the midfield. And also Rilwan will be playing as the right wing. He is a very speedy player, so the attacks are going to be much more stronger.
Speaking of the attacks, the first goal against Sri Lanka was scored by Asadullah.
Yeah.
What did you make of his performance? Obviously, everyone is in the shadow of Ali Ashfaq at the moment, but do you think he stood up to the task and played well?
Asadullah is a very young, promising player.
Yes.
He played for Mazia in the AFC Cup also. He was performing very well. So I think it's a good start for him, and he might be a good shining star in the tournament.
So, Sharukh, we all expected Bhutan to ship in at least 5 to 6 goals against Afghanistan, if not more. They did well to keep the scoreline to 3-0. Do you think it's a sign that Bhutan have improved as a team over the last couple of years, or was that just a direct result of Afghanistan playing many reserve players?
I think it's a question of both actually. Once you look at it, Afghanistan definitely fielded quite a weak team. Bilal Razu not there, Sanjdan Ramadi not in the squad, reserve goalkeeper playing. So yes, it was a very below par squad, and definitely Yusuf Kaga tested most of his players on the day. But then again, Bhutan also showed some good attacking qualities during the game, and some attacks on the flank also, produced a couple of defensive mistakes from Afghanistan. So definitely they look to try that against Maldives. But then again, you have to see that Bhutan, once they got the penalty, the big match pressure, they succumbed to that, and they eventually missed that. And after that, Afghanistan just took the lead and scored a couple of more goals.
Do you think that, because Bhutan plays so few international games, the mental side of the game puts them down because they're not used to that big match experience, so they find it tough to deal with it mentally?
Yes, definitely that plays a big role because, even in South Asia, not all of the teams play, several friendlies in a year. So Bhutan especially, they play a very few games, and I think a positive sign here might be that Yeadzdin, the biggest club in the Bhutan League, played in the AFC Presidents Cup, and although they were hammered, they got some international experience in Asia. So, and considering that most of the players are from that club specifically, I think that they're getting international exposure as they go on, and perhaps in a couple of more years we'll see them perform even better.
Yes, hopefully that would be good for South Asian football. Firash, Maldives have won their last 2 encounters against Bhutan. Of course, that would give them a lot, even more confidence going into this game today. What did you make of their last couple of matches against the Bhutanese side?
In 2003 SAFF Championship group stage, Maldives beat Bhutan by 5 goals. In that match, Maldives' first international hat-trick was made by Ali Sham. And coming back in 2012 FC Challenge Cup qualification, again Maldives beat Bhutan by 6 goals. So when we come again to play against Bhutan today, I think they will have a very good confidence again to play against Bhutan because they have the winning is favorited for Maldives side. And also in the last match, confidence is also will boost their confidence and morale.
Yes. So, Sharukh, with Maldives and Afghanistan looking the stronger teams in this group, how do you see this group eventually playing out?
I think as it is, the 2 strongest teams in the group will obviously decide the proceedings and how the group stands. Finally, Afghanistan versus Maldives will be a terrific game, and in terms of quality and goals, I think this should be a really spectacular one. So eventually it will boil down to both of them, and considering that the goal difference is considerable, the one who wins will basically go through, and the one who tops will also have to fare the lesser team of the other group. So I think it will be particularly interesting to see how both coaches work out their plans and what kind of team they feel in that one.
Yes, Firash, what kind of formation, what kind of system do you see Maldives playing with today? Do you think they'll maybe add that extra attacking player to get the game, put the game to bed early?
Against Sri Lanka, Maldives played in 3-5-2 system using 2 wings at both time up and down. So I think the same formation, the same game plan coach will use today also. And I think if the right wing player is changed today, it will again gives a huge boost to the attacking.
And speaking of, because this is a game that Maldives expect to win, we could probably expect the coach to field some young players today. Do you see any young players in the Maldives squad who we should watch out for?
Yeah, there are some young players who are new for this level of football. Coach might give chance for them if Maldives has taken a good lead in the first half or in the second half. Players like Ahmad Imaz or Ahmad Ablo, he might use for giving them more match experience.
And do you think that would be the right decision if the coach fields some young players today, or do you want the coach to send out a full strength side and win the game?
I think it's a good decision because if he is confident that he is winning side, it is good to give chances for the young players to give them more match experience.
Yes, and that's exactly how young players develop, don't they? Sharukh, when you talk about a team like Bhutan, if I'm a player in the Bhutanese squad, I'm going into this tournament, almost knowing that we have very little chance of qualifying or even drawing, a single game. What kind of mental processes do you see the Bhutanese players go through, when they prepare for a tournament like this?
Obviously, you've got to start from the basics, and in terms of the league in Bhutan, they already know that the middles in Asia and especially South Asia as well. So yes, the Bhutanese players already feeling the pressure when they go into the game. They know they have to keep their scores respectable. The chances of winning are minimal. So yes, it takes a very physical toll on the players as well as a mental one, as you mentioned. So when the players come out on the pitch, they have to just make sure that they keep the score respectable.
But don't you think it's a high chance that they're demoralized even before they step onto the pitch?
Yes, that is the case, but you also have to look at the results. They can't do anything about that. Either they perform well and then they gain morale for them. If they don't perform well, it's going to take a toll on them anyway.
Absolutely. Firash, we saw the other day against Sri Lanka, Niaz make his debut for the Maldivian side, and making his debut at above 30 years of age. That's a story in itself. Why do you think the debut has come so late?
His performance in this season and last season was very good, especially in FC Cup matches. In the new Radiant midfield, he dominates, controls the midfield as a defensive midfielder, and as a playmaker also, he provides good balls to the strikers. And in Sri Lanka game also, we saw that after he came on the pitch, the combination went much more stronger, and again he dropped some good balls to the strikers. So I think he showed, he proved that he has the capacity to play for the national team.
Do you expect him to start again today?
I don't think he will be in the starting line, but he might be joining the game in some part of the game.
You won 10-0 against Sri Lanka. Obviously, we're all going to focus on the 10 all the time. Yeah. But we also have to look at the nil, right? You conceded 0 goals. So your defense must have gained a lot of confidence from that performance.
Yeah, in Sri Lanka game, we saw a total football from Maldives because our central backs, Shifan and Akram, were sometimes participating in attacks. So, which means they are very confident of their defense line, and they are the 4 defenders are very, combined, and they have very much confidence over the defense line. So, I don't think today also for Bhutan it's also going to be easy for them to break the defense.
Yes. Do you expect any major changes in the starting 11 today?
There might be 1 or 2 changes.
But Ali Ashfaq will go start.
Ali Ashfaq will start.
Okay, that's not very good news for the Bhutanese side. Sharukh, any major changes expected in the Bhutanese side today?
I don't think so. They played considerably well given their means in the last game, and I think the coach knows that if he doesn't get anything today, it's just all over for them. So yes, they'll play the similar side, perhaps try to nick something, but it'll probably be very difficult considering the quality they're up against. So it's just going to be a matter of getting in another international game and just playing.
And for the last Bhutanese game, we predicted 6+ goals to be scored against them. What would be, you've watched them play once now against the Afghan side. Today against Maldives and against Ali Ashfaq, what do you expect the scoreline to be?
I've seen Maldives players, as you mentioned, I've seen Bhutan play as well. So considering what they're up against today, I think if given the chance and if given the opportunity, Maldives could repeat that score again.
Well, that's not very good news for Bhutan. Firash, 10-0 against Sri Lanka. Even more against Bhutan today?
Considering the pitch condition and the weather, if Maldives plays like as in Sri Lanka game, they might score around 7 to 8 goals.
Well, there you have it from our experts in the studio. Maldives expected to run riot once again today against Bhutan. Hopefully for the Bhutanese side, they can build on their performance against Afghanistan and keep the scoreline a bit more respectable. Live action coming up in just 5 minutes. Stay with us.